are back, baby. We are back. The Game Day Everyday podcast makes its triumphant return here in 2023 alongside the executive director of the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, Rob Higgins. I am Ryan Bass. It is so good to see your face, my friend. It is so good to be back on this podcast. And it doesn't seem like you've been busy at all. It seems like you've just been taking a vacation since the last time we did this.
Well, it's good I could finally pin you down to do an episode. I mean, I know you're such a world traveler for those that follow you on Instagram and every other social media platform. So it's good to have you nailed down. We're going to get back to this on a regular basis, and I can't wait.
I am so excited, my friend. And for those that have stayed with us, our loyal listeners, we appreciate you. We love you. And we have so much to fill you in on. It has been such an incredible first start of the year here for the Tampa Bay Sports Commission and for our amazing community. As you mentioned, world traveler, I'm here in New York with a beautiful view of Manhattan as we get ready for Rays Yankees. We're going to get into that here in a little bit, but I want to start with Banana Ball taking over the Bay. The Rays aren't the only thing that have been taking Tampa Bay by storm. The Savanah Bananas had a 2-day run at George Steinbrenner Field here last month, and I unfortunately did not get the opportunity to go, Rob, but I will tell you social media was lit up with the experiences from Banana Ball. How awesome was it to host our friends from the Savanah Bananas for 2 days? And what kind of experience can you speak to just how that was for our community?
It truly was bananas. I mean, it was awesome. We had a blast. Jesse Cole, their owner and the great showman that he is, has become a dear friend. And we just love collaborating with him and their entire team. It all started back. Joey Johnston was helping write one of their books and made an intro to Jesse, and we hit it off and just started working on the opportunity to bring the bananas here. There was 90 cities. I think we talked about this on a previous episode, but 90 different cities that had reached out to him to be a part of their world tour. They selected 33. We were fortunate to be one of the 33, and I mean the interest was crazy. I mean they didn't sell out in days or hours. I mean, they were sold out for 2 nights in basically minutes. And so 30 different states, people from 30 different states bought tickets, traveled here. We're starting to look at the hotel numbers now, but I can tell you the impact was impressive, and it was such a fun and magical 2 nights at Steinbrenner Field.
What was maybe the one takeaway for you? And I know there was an opportunity where you got to kind of sit down with Jesse Cole and kind of host a conversation, which was really cool to see. But was there one takeaway from you that maybe will last with you in terms of the impact Banana Ball has had on our community, or at least the way the 20,000 people over the 2 nights responded to the Savanah Bananas in town?
I think every event you get an opportunity to learn from, and we've talked in the past about how these events have economic impact, they have social impact, but the lessons learned from Jesse and their operation was phenomenal. I think so much of what we do when it comes to events, the focus is on the competition. But for them, I mean, we had thousands of people lining up 2, 3, 4 hours before the game started to just be a part of the entire spectacle, which really ran from before doors open all the way until an hour to an hour and a half after the game had ended. So, I mean, to think about it in terms of their game was 2 hours, but it was really a 5-hour entire event, is something that I think we'll continue to study and take a hard look at and figure out ways to be able to program and entertain and make the fan experience even more well-rounded. You mentioned the conversation that we had with them. That was part of our overall deal with them, is I wanted our entire sports community to get a chance to interact and learn from Jesse. So we had representatives from every franchise here, as well as the Valspar Championship, as well as our local colleges. All of Team Tampa Bay really got a chance to visit with him and learn from him and ask questions and really study the Banana Ball model, which has been so successful. And I hope everybody got an opportunity to learn plenty of lessons, and we'll get a chance to bake it into their overall fan experiences as well.
It was 33 cities is what this world tour was for the Savanah Bananas, and Tampa was honored to host as one of those stops on that world tour. Do you anticipate, Mr. Rob Higgins, that we will see more banana ball in the Bay, hopefully in the future?
Yeah, that's the hope and plan. I think we certainly have expressed our interest in continuing a long-term partnership with them. I really want to give a lot of credit to the Yankees and Steinbrenner Field, Tony Bruno, Vance, Howard. Their whole crew was a big part of this, and I know they're interested in continuing to bring them back and continue on this relationship. So we're going to let them get through this tour before we really start pressing them about the next tour. But it is something that we want to continue on. And I mentioned Joey earlier, and his whole role in getting this done. He also had a fantastic article that, if you haven't seen yet, for all our listeners, go to our website, check it out. It really is a great recap piece of the overall weekend and gives you a feel for just how much the Bananas enjoyed being in our community and how much our community enjoyed the Bananas being here. The Bananas weren't the only major event in April for us. We kicked off the month with our community's third NCAA Men's Frozen Four, which was another fantastic experience.
It seemed like such a raucous crowd at Amalie Arena for the Frozen Four. And one of the things that I really loved, and I know we'll get to this, I love when the fans were coming out after what an incredible championship game it was. You had Frozen fourth on the screen in terms of like, hey, we really want to host this event again. Rob, this was, as you mentioned, our third time, and the reaction to it, the experiences, the not only the fan experiences but the team experiences speak to just overall just how successful from your standpoint this event was, especially capping off the way that it certainly did.
It was awesome. I mean, rarely in events does an event go perfect, and I'm not claiming that it was, but there's always these uncontrolled variables, and you never know which way they're going to swing. So things like the weather, things like the games. The weather was awesome. We had an instant classic overtime national championship game, which was phenomenal. People were going to remember that forever. And so we were fortunate. A lot of things fell into place in addition to the things that we can control, but it was an awesome week. It was the 75th edition of the NCAA Men's Frozen Four, and our attendance was third overall. So to think about, us being in Tampa, Florida, a lot of folks consider us non-traditional, but overall, I think we've proven that this is an event that really works well here, and it's an event that our community embraces. The TV ratings were phenomenal, highest in 12 years. It was actually, our national championship game was double last year's. And then we've started to get the hotel numbers in, and it proved to be an awesome impact on our community. I think one of the things people sometimes lose sight of is over holiday weekends, our tourism traditionally is slower. This was Easter weekend. And so to have an event the magnitude of the Frozen Four come in and have such a great impact during a weekend that's usually a little slower was fantastic. So if you look at this Easter weekend with the Frozen Four compared to last Easter weekend, our hotel room nights were up about 6,200 in Hillsborough County. You had a revenue increase of over 6 million overall for Tampa Bay. The room nights were up close to 14,000 when you factor in all the different counties, and the occupancy was up over 10%. So those are indisputable figures. Those are facts. There's no projections or calculations. I know a lot of people get in the economic impact conversation. We try to look at tangible numbers, and you can tell without a shadow of a doubt, the Frozen Four was a huge win for our community. And so it's another event that we are focused on bringing back as quickly as possible. The NCAA bid cycle won't kick off until later on this summer, and certainly we'll be focused on bringing back the men's Frozen Four for a future year.
Good luck, St. Paul, St. Louis, and Las Vegas, living up to what was just an incredible stretch there for the Frozen Four here in Tampa, and truly hopeful, Rob, that we get another opportunity to host it yet again coming up, because it was such a cool experience for those fans to come in town. Who wouldn't want to go and celebrate college hockey in 80s and 70-degree weather, Rob? I mean, come on. Doesn't get much better than that.
I tell you what, I went down to Naples about 2 or 3 weeks after the event for the American Hockey Coaches Association convention to get a chance to see a lot of the folks from a team perspective and committee perspective that had come to the Frozen Four, and they were still buzzing about it, as are we. I mean, it is the best of both worlds, an opportunity to come to a community that's got great weather but really appreciates hockey. You can walk to the games in your favorite jersey, but also wear shorts and flip-flops. And no offense to any of the others that host, but you don't get that everywhere. And so we're so fortunate with the way the college hockey community has embraced us. And there's no doubt we're going to continue to do everything we can to make it a Frozen Fourth at some point in the near future.
And what an exciting championship it ended up being, a game-winning goal 10 seconds into overtime for Quinnipiac there. And what an unbelievable championship.
I was in the corner, actually, like in the tunnel where most of the Quinnipiac fans were in the lower level. I was standing next to Coach Pecknold's wife and family. And when they scored it that quick, I mean, that end of the arena went absolutely nuts. I'm pretty sure I've got to take that suit I was wearing to get dry cleaned because there were some beverages that had sprayed on me. And Coach Pecknold, I want to give a lot of credit and kudos to him. He was a part of the committee when we hosted in 2012. He lost in the national championship when we hosted in 2016. And then for him to win it here was fantastic. I got an opportunity to escort his family out on the ice for them to hug. And it was just a really special moment. He has been really outspoken about the opportunity to try to bring the Frozen Four here every 3 or 4 years, which certainly we would sign up for in a heartbeat. But all the coaches have been fantastic and super supportive of the effort here. And our hats off to all of them on fantastic seasons and really a great culmination at the 2023 NCAA Men's Frozen Four.
Yeah, rubber stamp what Coach Pecknold said is he called it, in a recent Forbes piece. I think it's one of the best sites, and he hopes that it's within that 4-year rotation. He said, I hope the committee does just that. Well, Coach Pecknold, if you put in a good word, maybe we'll get another Frozen Four here coming back to our city because we would love to host it yet again. And Rob, that was not just the only event you hosted in April. What a wild April it was. 13 events hosted at venues throughout Hillsborough County. You guys were busy in the month of April. You just take me through kind of the wild stretch that you guys just had.
Well, we only have, 45 minits to an hour. If you want me to detail every event, Ryan, we're going to be here for a few days. But
well, I was hoping you'd take me through your breakfast routines, what
right.
Every I want a daily journal in the life of Rob Higgins throughout the month of April,
Sure. No, what I will say is this: in addition to college hockey and baseball, which we talked about, the other sports that we hosted range from rugby to swimming to cheerleading to equestrian to soccer to volleyball and other sports, not even including April yet, because those numbers we're still working on and auditing and finalizing. But through March, just from October 1st through March 31st, we're already over 140,000 hotel visitor room nights. Again, those are indisputable numbers. Those are tracked. And that's a real impact to our community. So while the major events are very important and they put us on the stage that our community deserves to be on, the youth and amateur events that you probably don't hear about enough that are taking place each and every weekend are constantly filling our hotels and supporting those 50,000 tourism and hospitality employees that work here in our community. So we're so fortunate with the job that Jason and Tony on our team do on an everyday basis to be able to help drive those youth and amateur events here. Tony is actually right now at the Sports ETA conference having meetings with prospective clients and visiting with long-term clients that we already have. And like I said, Jason's focused on it, every single day too. So it's been quite a run here. It's not going to slow down anytime soon. And it's one we really appreciate everybody's support. And I do want to also point out our 9th annual Tampa Bay Kids Triathlon, which was an awesome event at Adventure Island. It sold out the earliest that it's ever sold out. Jenna Grooms with EDI on our team, has continued to do a fantastic job growing that event alongside our partners at Adventure Island and Busch Gardens. We were there bright and early at 4 a.m. That morning, and I can tell you that the smiles on the kids' faces were fantastic, and they just loved being a part of it. So many great stories come out of that every single year. So kudos to Jenna and our Event Development Institute for not only helping start that event, but grow it into what it is today.
And kudos, by the way, for 2,500 proceeds going back to Friedrich's Ataxia Research Alliance as well. What again,
the Gavin Lambert finish line. I mean, that is one of my favorite things about that event. If you're not familiar with Gavin's story, go on our YouTube. He's our hero. We call him the finisher. We named the finish line after him, I think 4 or 5 years ago. And there's nothing more special than seeing him at that finish line, handing out the medals to every kid that finishes, that has that sense of accomplishment, and is inspired to finish just as Gavin has always taught us.
And if you haven't checked out our YouTube page, it's at TBSC Commission on YouTube. Just type in that handle. By the way, I did go back and look. The piece that I was able to do for the sneaker soiree, 18,000 views, by the way, on Arian Knighton, which is awesome. I mean, and by the way, if you haven't had a chance to go back, a lot of those features and pieces are on YouTube on there. But that was awesome, Rob. It was good to see that, a lot of people are really resonating with some of the work that we did throughout the sneaker soiree.
Absolutely. And social media has been huge to us, from, Instagram to Twitter to YouTube to Facebook. I mean, that's a great way for us to be able to connect with all of our folks, share different opportunities, whether it comes to, upcoming events, to the podcast, to volunteer opportunities. So we encourage everybody to make sure they're following us there. And then make sure that you're following Ryan Bass on Instagram, because we all live vicariously through him. He's inspired me to try to do a better job on Instagram, but I'm only doing like 1 or 2 stories a day versus Ryan is a solid double-digit day.
Yeah. Yep. I'm a double-digit guy. Yeah.
So just again, be sure to connect with us on there and see what we're up to.
I'm learning a lot from Lainey Higgins, who's inspired me, your daughter, who is a social media extraordinaire, an influencer, as we like to call them. And she is elite at this social game. So I'm taking notes from her, Rob, just so you know. She's teaching me each and every day.
I wish she would just take over my account. She's too big time for that. So I'm still doing it on my own and figuring it out myself.
There also is a video on YouTube of Rob with a banana hat from the sneaker soiree. So that's a good tease. If you haven't gone and checked out our YouTube, you got to go do that, because that video is definitely one you need to see. You mentioned a lot of your team members, Rob, who have been integral in really laying the foundation for what was an incredible April, and of course, laying the foundation for the events to come later on this year. But you do have a new team member that you have added to your squad. You want to give a little shout out to the newest member of Team Tampa Bay?
Absolutely. We just added Mercedes Jorge, who was the director of basketball operations for our good friend Jose Fernandez at USF Women's Basketball. Super talented, phenomenal leader, jack of all trades, really diverse skill set. And I think she really rounds out our team. And we couldn't be more excited to get an opportunity to work with her. She's going to be working directly with Jenna, as well as all of us. I mean, we have such a small team that we're constantly all collaborating together, but it's a phenomenal addition, 5-star recruit that gets added to this incredible team that we have going. So we're excited with that addition and can't wait to work with her.
Of course, you had to balance out the Tony being from UCF and adding another USF, bull here. So I understand that the college rivalries, trying to balance out your team a little bit, Rob, because of course you needed more USF on your team.
Yeah, I mean, between myself and Claire and now Mercedes, just the more we can add bulls to it. I mean, we're just trying to take it to the highest level possible, which
I get that.
Education has a big role in that, right?
I get that. Well, we've got much more to come, this year for the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, and especially when it comes to the game of women's volleyball. And we're really excited, Rob. Not only are we kicking off the volleyball season in 2023 here at Amalie Arena in Tampa, but it will be finishing off here as well with a championship trophy being hoisted. Take me through kind of what's been in the works in terms of getting ready for what will be an awesome volleyball season to start and finish in Tampa Bay.
Well, you referenced the Road to Tampa Bay Invitational, which will kick off the season on the same floor that will crown a national champion 4 months later. So on August 25th at Amalie Arena, we're going to have 4 great teams take the floor with Florida, Penn State, Georgia Tech, and USF. And then the following night, we'll switch up the matchups and they'll play at the Yuengling Center on August 26th. So it's a great way to start the college volleyball season and really show the road to Tampa Bay and kick it off as it'll unfold, like I said, for those next 4 months. National championship planning wise, it's going great. We've been working with Kristen Fassbender and her team at the NCAA on a variety of different fronts, both from a marketing standpoint and from an operations standpoint. And it's going to be awesome. We haven't had the opportunity to host in 14 years. It's been 14 long years for us, and we're going to do everything we can to put our best foot forward so we don't have to wait another 14 years to be able to host them again. Claire, just this past weekend, was at the NCAA Beach Championship, which Kristen also runs from an NCAA standpoint. And there's a lot of crossover, obviously, between beach and indoor. She heard a lot of great feedback as she was promoting our championship as well as the Road to Tampa Bay Invitational. So we're really hitting our stride and could be more excited for both events in August as well as December.
I'm really excited for the outlook of this year. August, obviously, going to be kicking off the Road to Tampa Bay Invitational here with the women's volleyball season. But August is also going to be a cool opportunity for you to head to Ohio, Canton, Ohio, in particular for Rondé Barber's enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I know you two are very good friends, and we're all super excited for Rondé. So deserving to finally get the call to be enshrined as one of the greatest to ever play this game, deservedly so. How pumped are you to be able to kind of share in that journey with him? And that's going to be a lot of fun.
Could not be more excited. I mean, it is going to be awesome. I've never been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the museum, or the induction. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm taking my son Landon, so like a guy's trip up there to go check it out. I really appreciate being invited, and certainly there's nobody more deserving. I mean, it's been years in the making. It's hard to believe Rondé, I actually saw this the other day, retired 10 years ago, and 10 years ago this week, and it feels like it was yesterday. And
wow,
I tell you, he's been such a great treasure of Tampa Bay, between obviously his playing career, but what he's done off the field as well. And just in recent years, his leadership with the Valspar Championship with Tracy West and their team, taking that event to an all new level has been fantastic. And I'm just thrilled for him. He's an all around phenomenal guy and friend. And I can't wait to see him finally get that gold jacket he deserves come the beginning of August.
47 picks, 28 sacks in his career, only player in NFL history in the 45-25 club. Rondé Barber certainly deserving to head to Canton, Ohio, and excited for the boys' trip, you and Landon, to get to go up there and experience that with him. That's going to be, quite the excitement there. And that August, by the way, will be the tail end of baseball season as well, as we get into August and September baseball, gearing up for October. How impressed have you been, Rob? I mean, I've been living this Rays baseball historic start with them here in New York, hopefully to sweep the Yankees. After they took 2 or 3 against the Yanks at our house last weekend. This has galvanized the community. I don't know about you, Rob. I've seen more Rays hats, shirts, jerseys, apparel around town than I've ever seen before. I mean, this team and this support has been incredible to start the season.
It's been phenomenal, and it's been very well deserved. I mean, the way they have played the start to this season has been fantastic. They are just so fun to watch every day. They could hang a huge number in any inning, so you gotta watch. I mean, that's what's so fun about this team, is they're just explosive, but they also have great pitching. But I mean, you tell me, you're around the team all the time. I mean, what is the magic and the ride been like from your perspective?
And the magic has been it has been breathtaking. This is a team that They made some minor adjustments in the offseason to being more patient at the plate, which has led to this outburst offensively. I think they have 73 or 74 home runs this year, which, paces baseball by a large margin. The camaraderie in the clubhouse is second to none. I mean, these guys get along really well. They like each other. And they're fun. Randy Rosarena had a blast with Randy Land, the debut of his new section in 141 at the Trop. This team is finding ways to win and finding ways to make this a magical run. I mean, they were down 6-0 to the best pitcher in the American League, one of the best, in Garrett Cole, last Sunday, and they erased that 6-0 deficit and ended up winning 8-7 in walk-off fashion, thanks to Isaac Paredes. I mean, it hasn't just been one guy too, Rob. It's been, Randy one night or Taylor Walls another night, Wander Franco, Shane McClanahan, Isaac Paredes, Christian Bethencourt. I mean, they gel together so well. It's a bunch of guys that were cast off maybe from other clubs that have come here and really, really made their mark. So, I think it's unrealistic to think they're going to finish at 133 win pace this year, but could they break, Major League Baseball's win record of 115 in a season? That's within reach, and certainly hope they can continue this run. It's been crazy so far, Rob.
Well, my favorite part of the walk-offs too is I get a chance to watch you ruin a suit in a pair of Jordans every time it happens. And I always love to see it. I'll put it in slow-mo, I'll play it back, there's nothing better than not only getting a huge Rays win in dramatic fashion, but then also seeing you basically get like a standing dunk take. I mean, it is awesome.
Yeah, last year G-Man Choi purposefully threw it at me when Isaac Paredes had a walk-off, and then this year I did send an invoice to Taylor Walls and Josh Lowe for the dry cleaning bill, because not only did the suit get absolutely tattooed, but the Jordans took a lot of work to get that orange Gatorade out of them. So to those fellas, I'm expecting a check in the mail, for that dry cleaning. And Rob, it seems like you and I both are on this dry cleaning trend of trying to make sure that we take care of our suits. So I'm proud of us, buddy. We always want to look our best.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key is here, you get not only look our best, but we're going to be even more consistent than we've been. So I can't wait for the next episode of the Game Day Everyday podcast. I can promise you it won't be this big break like we've had over these recent months. But as you can tell from this episode, we certainly have been busy.
We have been busy and we have missed each other as well. Can't wait for our next episode of the Game Day Everyday podcast. Hopefully it's as bananas as this one has been. Until then, we'll see you next time.